This podcast contains strong language and adult situations and may not be suitable for those who are easily offended.
Welcome to Fuck My Work Life's Afternoon Break, a quick getaway from your daily grind. Step away from whatever you're doing, grab your favorite beverage, put your feet up, and enjoy. I'm Kay.
And I'm Jay.
And today's special guest with us is Arizona-based R&B alternative artist Seanloui. Welcome, Seanloui. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's our honor, definitely. So why don't you tell us a little bit about you and your music?
Yeah, I'm from Arizona. I've been playing music for a long time, man. Not too long, right? Because I'm still 21 years old, right? Everybody,
right.
I play. I call it R&B indie pop. Is a phrase that was coined when I was playing in Mexico. Somebody came up and they were like, "I'm trying to figure out the way to describe your music." It's like, I think it's like R&B indie pop. And I was like, that's a really cool. It's a really cool, term. I call it what do I call it? Evangelistic, like kind of pop. No, it's not religious by any means, but it has that feel of like everyone being together. So anyways, just been doing music, playing all over the place. Just got done playing in New York. It was a great show, and can keep doing it.
Very nice.
Yeah, keep doing it, man.
I bet that's such a nice work life you have. You don't have that 9 to 5 that you're like strapped to an office chair all day long, just doing your thing.
I mean, like I think every major artist that I've interacted with, or just in general, I know has like a side business. So I do have like a side consulting firm that I do for content strategy. So I do that on the side. Music, especially during COVID, took a lot of us took some hits, right? Some pretty massive hits. So I know a lot of us had to do some pivoting, in which then I legitimately think even some of the top artists, like I was saying earlier, the top artists like someone like a SZA or they have multiple forms of income coming in, and that's excluding music. So it's not a bad thing sometimes to have that.
Yeah, no, my brother's actually a musician, and he has like 4 or 5 different side gigs he does as well when he's not touring. So totally get that.
Yeah.
So we heard you have some fun work stories that you would like to share.
Oh man, yeah. Let's start by talk. I will do a recent one. So I worked for a audio streaming service. Audio streaming service, and it was one of my first jobs back from being in Europe. I was recording my quote unquote debut single, big single called "Tell Me," which you guys can look at. You guys can listen to on my Spotify. But I got back from recording that, so I got this job to work at this audio streaming service, and it was absolutely nuts. Like it was like a bunch of I'll say this, a bunch of the managers were like sleeping with like some of like the students. You're not students. What am I saying? That's not students. Sorry guys, not students. Employees, like the lower level people. Because it's very similar, right? Because I was hired as a manager, we were teaching, and so one of the situations was they ended up one of the managers ended up like leaving because he ended up getting caught sleeping with some of the managers, and just there was maybe once every other day I would hear stories of employees like hooking up in the bathroom, and this is like constant. This is like not like oh my gosh, it's so rare. This 100% happened, even to the point where the headquarters of this company that I worked for, they would send us like about a budget of like, let's say like $2,000 to $5,000, right? And that was supposed to be spent just on the employees. Like the manager was supposed to have it. I was supposed to give it to like my team of social media experts, and they're supposed to like go hand with this, like pizzas, parties, and all that stuff. Come to find out that the director of our site was stealing all of the money.
Oh,
and so the headquarters ended up finding out, because they were like, that's so weird that we kept hearing that y'all are not using any of the money, but the money's disappearing. Come to find out, they were taking it and
Oh my God.
and seeing and because her husband wasn't working, so she was stealing the money. So like ended up happening was that she one of the employees found out and like told the headquarters, like sending like a private message that the headquarters sent in one of their top guys to come down and essentially like asked the director to their face, and he came in and she just walked out. She was caught and she left. No one has seen her since.
Wow.
She didn't get like arrested for embezzlement or anything.
No, didn't get arrested. Another one of the crazy things about that is that guy didn't get a shift or something, and he was posting something on Facebook. All I remember is that I remember turning around, and then one of the social media experts was like, I need like a manager to come to my office real quick. So like we went over to her desk, and so she pointed out that one of the experts started saying that he was going to shoot up the headquarters.
Oh, nice.
Right?
Oh, geez.
Now, yeah, so it is very serious, and that's, and, you know, but so immediately once he put up that thing, she screenshot it, sent over to us as managers, called it over to us, our attention. He took it down. The bad part is that he posted that on September 11th. So during that time of September 11th, some series of laws were passed that if you commit any kind of shootings or
terrorist
threaten
threat,
shooting,
yeah,
it becomes like a crazy felony. So end up finding out he thinks he's okay, right? Because he's like hanging out at his house. Federal agents show up at his house and arrest him.
Oh my God!
Send him away. I still don't know what ever happened to him. His boyfriend was also working there. He like pops out. He goes, "I think I need to go home." And we're like, "Yeah, you might want to go home because your boyfriend just threatened to shoot up the place." So we end up having to have a police officer come down. Cops showed up, and it was very, 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 very dramatic. That was like one of the craziest stories because it's like weird. Yeah. I didn't remember that story until maybe like a year ago, and I felt like it was like trauma because it was kind of scary, right? Someone put something like that, and then all of a sudden, you didn't know what's going to happen. Yeah, so that was at an unnamed audio streaming service.
Got it.
Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah, and to their fault, and I remember someone saying this at one of the meetings. They're like, why do we hire all musicians to take these social media expert spots? Like they're essentially their prerequisite was, do you love music? And it was at the very beginning of this company, and people are like, yeah, I love music. They're like, well, we're going to train you to be a social media expert, and you're going to essentially help people they're willing to get onboarded but able to use their system. And so they hired a bunch of customers, a bunch of musicians, and musicians it is sex, drugs, and rock and roll. So like what else did they expect was going to happen in all the offices? Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It was pretty wild.
That's crazy.
My other story as a church, I used to be a media director. What kind of what is a degree? How crazy? Because working for a church, anyone working for a church, you know the craziest stories in the whole world. But what level should I go to?
You can go to whatever level.
Come on, Jay's like
that is not a valid question on this podcast.
Jay's like,
I've told people before when we first started this thing and started having guests, and they were like, where can I go with this? And I'm like, bro, we talk about cum farts on this podcast, so we're good. Like there is nothing that is gonna, like, you're not gonna shock anybody's system listening to the podcast. Like
that's not something we talk about regularly.
No, not regularly, but we have talked about it. And it's like, what else?
So you can go
where else can you go that is going to be not okay.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So on that note,
I know. I feel like I shocked him saying that.
Let's see. There was, my church for some odd reason had. I mean, it's a very large church, so you're talking like 17,000 people, right?
Whoa.
Jeez.
Yeah. So pretty massive, and I'm probably. I mean, probably COVID probably took out a lot of that, but at its height, it was heading into the 17,000. Like his membership was 12,000, but we were pulling in about 17. For some odd reason, we've had people that come to our church have been involved in some crazy crimes. It's wild. So one of the things when we built this building, someone's going to 100% probably Google the story and go like, I know what church you went to or church you worked at. But it's essentially, and actually I knew this kid because I went to like church with him, right? So like went to junior high, like youth service. And so I saw him, he knew who I was. I knew who he was, but he was a construction worker, and he went to our building on the construction. Now, back in the day, copper was, and I don't know if it still is or not, but copper was, very, very expensive, like to number one, to buy and to just have. Is you can sell it to any construction company and get tons of money.
Mm-hmm.
So this kid that I know, and I honestly I can't remember this guy's name, but this kid I know and his friend walk over to the construction site because they knew that number one, the building's being built, and they knew the security because like we used to do tours through the building all the time, to get people to give more money to the church to help finish the building. So he knew where the security guards was. He came in and he started taking all the copper and loading up in his truck. The security guard obviously is going to see two random guys like come out and stealing copper. So the guy comes up, and according to the story, the security guard surprised the guy that I knew, and the guy swung and hit the security guard and beat him up pretty badly, right? So that's not it. So the two guys are walking away after taking all the copper, and then what is crazy is that this guy said the guy that beat up the security guard like really bad. I mean, security guard was unconscious. He goes, I need to finish it off. Goes in and kills the guy.
Oh shit!
Oh my god!
Yeah, isn't that wild? And then so the prosecutor was talking about the story and said it was when he turned around is when he got life. Bam! He turned around and made a decision to do that. It was so wild because when the photo went everywhere, everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, what the hell?" Like that was like he hasn't been he didn't go to church for a while, but he was a noticeable face,
Yeah.
And then there was another murder with a young girl got caught in a crazy murder, like conspiracy type thing, where a body was found on the Navy base in California. In California, kind of found out it was like the boyfriend that did it. He like killed these two actors, and the girlfriend who went to the church like knew about it, but she didn't want to hide it. So I think she might be still in court. Like it's like a crazy story. You guys might want to look it up. If you look it up, dun dun dun. Los Alamitos Navy Yard killing. It might be it because like the guy ended up decapitating like the two actors, like wild stuff, right? So my thought is that out of 17,000 people, y'all have two murderers. That's still high because most churches have zero. You know what I'm saying? That's like two is like really high. Safe to say, I do not attend that church anymore. At all. So
probably good decision.
Yeah. But that all happened when I was working there, and it was really, really crazy. I'll never forget someone also working at this church and hear them talking about budget. Now I back in the day I was only making like probably like $15 an hour, but I'll never forget like hearing people do please understand that stuff does cost money, and stuff that people see. They may not think it may cost a lot of money, but like lights, or projectors,
Oh, yeah.
Especially dealing with the entertainment industry, I will 100% say that most stuff is over $1,000. So one of the price points was like $313,000, and when they said the number, I started laughing. Right, I had this like crazy hysterical laugh. That's like a crazy number, but no one else blinked. No one blinked. I was like, whoa. And I was like, I had to have been like 20 or 21 years old. I was just working there. And I remember going, whoa, that is so wild that we can throw that number around. And it's not, but but now working as a musician and hearing like other actual venues, you know what I mean? Like do their budgets. That's like a common number, 300,000 to refit their whole business of their venues. Very, very common. So yeah, those are my stories.
Awesome. Thank you. I worked at a church too briefly, and it was not remotely as exciting as that. There was just some adultery, but no murder.
I mean, for sure. I mean, I could tell you, I don't want to give too much away because, some personal stories out there, but yeah, for sure. That was like that was a common thing. Here's my deal with all that stuff is that like, especially with like adultery, or just in general, like, if the church would stop trying to control sexuality of humans, then I think they'd be better off. Because once you just stop saying that, most kids are going to, of course, like engage in some kind of sexual activity up until they're 24, 25. And then they'll probably just stop because they're over it, right? And then they'll actually have better, like, responsible. But instead, like, they tell them, like, hope you need to wait till your marriage. And so they get married to people they don't want to get married to, but they really want to get married to that person over there, and they want to get married to them. So they end up hooking up, and then adultery happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go, church. There's my one advice, my lasting piece of knowledge for you, wisdom.
It's a great piece of wisdom. I completely agree with that.
Yep. There was one thing that I took away from growing up, because I grew up in a pretty religious household in the South.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard something in my later years that clicked and made so much sense. Repression, like if you repress people to not be who they are,
Mm-hmm.
you feed rebellion.
Yes.
And then that rebellion is only going to go further.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Where in the South? Where are you from?
Louisiana.
I don't hear an accent, man. What's up with that? Come on, Jay.
You haven't had enough beer?
I heard it a little bit. My family's from New Orleans.
I can bring it out when I want to, but
You've also been out here for a long time.
Yeah, I've been out here for quite a while, and I left Louisiana when I was like 16.
Oh, whoa.
And haven't been back. And I'll just say that was,
10 years ago.
So, yeah, let's say 10, 15 years ago, or maybe 25.
Oh my God.
Who knows?
Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
Thank you so much, Seanloui, for joining us and sharing your work stories with us today. Before we go, plug whatever you need to plug. We want to hear where to find you, where we can listen to your music.
You can find me at Seanloui.com, SEANLOUI.com. And of course, my name is Seanloui. So you can find that on any social media. You can search my name, Spotify and all that stuff, Twitter, and you'll find my name up there. I have some amazing shows coming up. Please, I would love to connect with any and every one of you who's listening right now. You can go to my website and you will type a message to me or just DM me. So music out. This is my EP called The Car EP. It's a continuation of this project where I make music that is birthed from a situation I was in where I couldn't move my body. And essentially during the first part of COVID, I was bedridden for like 3-4 months. So I made a whole album, made a whole concept album about that. So the second EP is out, and go take a look and let me know what you guys think.
Damn, I feel like, what the fuck happened?
What happened?
You dropped the bomb on us when you were fucking bedridden for a couple months.
Oh yeah. I wasn't employed then, so I didn't think it would fit this topic. But I was. I still a little bit do. I have this like really bad pinched nerve, but essentially it tightened up my back, and then I couldn't use any of my hands. I could barely move my arms, and it was only through a series of physical therapy, and I did yoga twice a day for an hour, and
Nice.
that did for 6 months. So I actually need to get back on it because my back is tightening up again. But so now I'm able to at least type. Before I couldn't barely do that. It was like one finger. So it was pretty tough. But I'm here. So I got to make some great music out of it, and I'm getting better every day.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Wow.
That's good, man. That's good. I'm glad to see you're back.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah, it was. I thought my music career is over. I was like, what am I going to do? I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yoga's amazing though, man.
It does. It's so good. People need to get onto it. As a kid, I was taught that yoga was like this demonic thing because it didn't have anything to do with Christianity, but it really is so good for your body. It's amazing, and it helps you meditate and focus on things that matter. Yeah, I'm a huge proponent.
That's awesome. I'm glad you're back to
Definitely
full strength.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Seanloui. Everyone go check him out.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining our afternoon break. If you have a workplace story, email it to fmwlpod@gmail.com or call our rant line at 310-818-3273.
Please follow or subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss out on new episodes. And if you're enjoying the show, take a moment to rate and review.
You can find us on all the socials at FMWLpod. Come say hello and check out all our amazing indie podcast friends. Until next time, bye fuckers.
I don't know about you, but with a busy work schedule, I never have time to sit down and read. Luckily, there's Newsly. Newsly is an all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android. It picks up articles about the most trending topics on the web and reads them to you in a natural human voice. For the first time ever, the entire web becomes listenable, all in one place. You can browse articles from topics you choose and just start playing. Follow specific topics from sports, tech, business, science, or Bitcoin. Newsly will find you the latest articles and read them aloud. They even have digital radio. And do you want to know the best part? They have podcasts. Explore trending podcasts from over 80 countries. And you can find our podcast, Fuck My Work Life, there too. Download and try Newsly for free by visiting www.newsly.me or clicking on the link in our show notes. And be sure to use promo code FWL for a 1-month free premium subscription. Stop scrolling and start listening with Newsly.